Okay, I also want to talk about God really quick. 'Cause I just had this download where a lot of people, I think, unconsciously have this idea that they know what's best. And for example, I was talking with my boyfriend about how, he really wants to get a good job. So once he gets a good job, he makes enough money and he can live the life that he wants to live. And like, he's so stressed out in his day to day because he's not at that point yet. And I was like, yeah, it's good to have goals and things to work towards. I don't think that you should have your eyes fixated on this one thing, like allow other things to be. Besides that, um, you don't, I'm like, life isn't about sitting back and relaxing. That's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to grow, to evolve, to learn, to go through sometimes challenging situations and circumstances so that we're able to see a truth that we've been denying for however long. Life isn't meant to sit back, kick our feet up, and just enjoy the material realm. But so many people want that. So many people think, if I could just have everything it is that I desire when I desire it. Bro, if that were the case, like, what's that one movie, Evan Almighty or something like that, where, what's his name? Jim Carrey goes through and he tries to be God and gives everyone what they want, but then it all crumbles through. That's how it would be. I remember, or my mom sent me pictures of this journal that I had when I was like 10. And in that journal, I wrote out everything that I wanted for like future Alexis. I was like, I want to have, I said Josh Hutcherson as my boyfriend. I put it was like the second gen iPhone at the time or something like that. And I had these pictures there, and I'm older now and I look back on it and I'm like, that's so funny. Like those things that I wanted so bad growing up, like how funny if I had gotten them. They would have been replaced with new things that I want. Like a newer iPhone would have came out. Maybe Josh Hutcherson would have been my man. I doubt it. Like, man, besides the point, I don't like Josh Hutcherson like that now that I'm older. So it was that reflection of like, wow, I really wanted this back then and I never got it, but I'm not sad that I never got it. Like being older now, I was like, I didn't really need that. I might have wanted that at that point, but I didn't need that. And I think a big issue within humanity is we just want our desires when we want them. And when we don't get them, we act like little toddlers sometimes, throwing little hissy fits about it. Like, why can't I have this? Why can't my life be like that? Like, just complaining. It's like, stop looking around at all the things you don't have. Just look at your life, what you do have, and work with that. And again, life isn't meant to just sit back, kick your feet up, and like get everything you want. Everything you want just feels really good all the time. Like, that's not the point of life. That's not why we're here. We are here again to learn, to grow, to evolve, to inspire others to learn and grow and evolve and connect and develop truth and so many beautiful things that come through going sometimes through challenging circumstances. And it's not like we need to run from these challenging circumstances and protect ourselves in this little comfort zone. Like, no, we need to go and we need to face these things. And it can be very intimidating. It can be very much like, I don't know, just intimidating or not comfortable. It can be, you don't always know what to do, but necessary. Again, that's why we're here. And I think that within humanity, there's been such a like unconscious anger towards God because we're not getting what we want when we want, and we think that we deserve it. And it's like, no, just relax a little bit. like you're getting what you need, and God knows what we need, and we're not trusting that because we don't want to go through the hard stuff, because we want what we want when we want it. And so we unconsciously are pushing ourselves away from God because we're thinking, oh, I know what I want and need, and I need to protect that, and I need to, blah, 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 versus working with the energy of who God is, which God is a loving, in a way that us as human beings have a hard time conceptualizing, like just pure love. I think of like parental love is hard because people have bad relationships with their parents, but like I love my little cat so much, and I always think of like my relationship with my cat. I'm like, oh, this is probably how God sees me, like just like, oh, like I'm your caretaker, I'm here for you, and I love you, and I want to see you flourish, and I want to give you all the best things. But we can't eat. For my cat, it's like he wants to eat all day every day, and he'll meow and he'll get in my space, and he's like, I want food, I want this. And I love him, I wish I could give him that food all the time, but he's gonna get all chunky, and then he's gonna become unhealthy, and he won't live as long. So because I love him, I'm like, hey, we have set times that we eat, and I'm gonna give you enough to eat. But he'll always just bug me, and I'll want to give him more food, but I'm like, no, if we were doing it how you want, then you're not going to be healthy, and I need you to be healthy because I love you and I care for you. And that's just like, I'm your caretaker, so that's what I have. That's how I think God looks at us, in a very choppy explanation. But God is like, I love you, I care about you, I'm bringing you these things in your path so you can grow, so you can be strong, so you can do whatever. But we we doubt, we get our heads, we just don't trust, and we think that we know what's best, and we want what we want, and we don't want to go through hard things. So we get upset with God when we do go through hard things, when in reality God is helping us through those hard things. We have to, as human beings, detach from this idea that we're all knowing, we're all powerful. We have the all-knowing and all-powerful essence within us, but we are not solely that. Like, we are not the full embodiment of that. We are, like, we have that. We are not that, if that makes sense. It's like we are both. We live in a very paradoxical universe, so just, porque no dos. It's kind of always a little bit of both. But besides that, what I'm trying to say here is trust God. Trust that maybe the hard stuff you're going through is for a reason. Like, I work a 9-to-5, and I have had so many ups and downs through working a 9-to-5 of being like, why do I have to work so much and not make enough to like afford an apartment by myself? Like, this doesn't seem fair, this doesn't seem right. And coming to terms with all these like hard feelings because I'm living them. But that's teaching me in turn how to be potentially a great employer for workers, how to stand up for others who are in a similar position as I am, or if I am ever to evolve out of this situation, to be there for people who are going through this, and to be that voice because I have experienced it. So it's like, yeah, I don't enjoy working a 9-to-5. I don't enjoy feeling like I don't have enough money or this, that, but I can at least acknowledge, bare minimum, it's bringing up feelings that I would have never felt and thoughts I would have never tried dealing with unless I went through this situation. And so it can be for a greater good. It can be for, that next step up. That's what God does. God uses these challenges and evils not as something to burden you by, but as your next step upwards. And we have to look at it that way. It is the next step up. It's not to excuse bad decisions. It's not to say, like, oh, people can just do whatever they want, be as terrible as they want because it's a learning lesson. Like, no. Shouldn't be our thought process. But it is, when you are going through hard things, don't feel so burdened by them. Don't feel like your life is over. Don't feel like, you should just get whatever you want whenever you want and not have to like go through hard things. You are going to have to go through hard things in life, and trust that God is doing this in a place of love. Detach from this existence where, like, you know, fearful, whatever, attach yourself. Just trust God, trust the process, trust that you are held and protected, because you are. And it may not seem like it, but we're the only ones getting in our way. It's not God. God is literally trying to be like, do this. Please look at it this way. Like, embody love more. And we're like, I don't know how to. My ego tells me no. So we're just like, like little toddlers. And it's like, God's gonna be like, okay, like, I have free will. I'll let you do what you want to do. But like, you're gonna see where it takes you. And you made that decision. And then we go to God, we're like, why are all these bad things happening to me? Like, God is upset at me, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we did that to ourselves. God loves us. That's where God is graceful, and God's gonna be like, through it, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna help you. I'm here for you. Even though you kind of brought this on yourself, I'm still here for you. I'm still rooting for you. I still want you, you know, to embody the love that I am and that I feel for you. I want you to share in that, and I want you to get there. But to get there, you're gonna have to, you know, change, transmute, transform, evolve, all that. And it's not always gonna be easy, but just trust. And yeah, people just don't want to do that. People don't want to trust. They want to be like, oh, I shouldn't have to go through hard things. And whenever I do go through hard things, it's just the worst thing in the world. It's not. It really isn't. And really start just like, if things, that was another thing I wanted to address. If things aren't going how you imagine for yourself, like for me, like I also want a different job. I don't want to be at this 9 to 5. And I did have resentment towards God. I'm like, you know, why am I here? Why am I going through this like misery and this suffering? Like, what did I do? Like, you know, like why is this my life? And just feeling like angry and like, you know, oh, God made this world and God creates society, and this is like basically God's fault, and God should want his people to not, you know, experience what I'm going through. Like just all these reasons in my head. And it was like, it was me being ignorant. That was me being selfish. That was me being weak-minded, like, and wanting to put the blame, not knowing where to put the blame, and just getting mad at God and not seeing like the bigger purpose behind my suffering. It's like, doesn't excuse the suffering, but because I have a better outlook on it, like with my job, I can transmute it into something actually of value versus something that's just like this crap thing in my life, you know? Like the lotus is blossom from the poop. That type of energy. And so, yeah, a lot of people just like think that they should be in control and they know best. It's like, release that. As a human being, we can understand we are not all knowing and we are not all powerful to a certain extent. Like, you know, I don't know the distance between me and Asia right now. I can't tell you that. Not all powerful where I can snap my fingers and now it's raining. Like, not in that sense. But we have that essence within us. But we're not that all-knowing, all-powerful. Stop trying to act like we have the authority and the right to decide what to do with our lives. Trust that the energy source of who has that control and that right loves you and trusts you and trusts them, and work in unison. Just trust. Work with. Okay? Trust that energy. Don't get so mad when you go through hard stuff and blame, feel resentment. Trust when you are going through the depths, you will make it through. And if you don't make it through, it's not the end. Okay, that's where I'm feeling called to end it for now. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Feel free to leave any comments in the comment section. That's why it's there. And yeah, that's it.